finish. Let me just be a witness. S-Works handle business.
Social works, social works, social works, social works, social works, social works.
Ready or not, here we come. South side, west side, east side, north side. Up on the run, we ain't for the none. We came in the party, we here for the fun. Celebrate life, the party we young. Sky is the limit, we looking above. We up in the sun, no matter what, we stay on the run. Ha, S-Work, do your thing. S-Work, keep it lit. Bullseye, keep your aim. Yeah, we up on the jib. North side, that's the way. Ready or not, here we come. S-Work, keep the energy. Look, yeah, we never unplug. S-Work, show some love.
Social works, social works, social works, social works, social works, social works. Social works, social works, social works, social works, social works, social works, social works. Yeah, S works. Everyone put it in their hands. You know it's a vibe. They're waiting in line to get up and flood up the stands. Yeah, we in this together. We feeling like fam. It's all about peace. So pull up with friends. You better come through with you and your crew, cause everybody going in. S works, so we keep it lit. You can see how we move the city from the west side to the east. Ooh, you can feel how we leave through. It's all about the youth. Change the world through the tunes. Make the world to a better place. And S works what we do.
Social works, social works, social works, social works, social works. Social works. Keep my family out the dirt.
Sworkshops are a series of online workshops featuring the many incredibly talented friends of social works. This series aims to inspire and educate, bringing local and national creatives live to your smartphone. They will be sharing and teaching specific aspects of their craft. A wide variety of professions, interests, and hobbies are represented within our curriculum. Did we mention it's a fundraiser too? The stay-at-home notice has students wondering what's to come. For some, graduation and prom will both be canceled. This campaign will directly fundraise a celebration event for those students within the Chicagoland area. Once it's safe, of course. Tune in to any of our socials for one or all of the Sworkshops. You can find the full schedule of programming at socialworksshy.org or on our Instagram. Classes start Monday, April 13th. We'll see you there.
How's it going, guys? My name is Evan Price with Artist Collective, and I want to thank you for being a part of this. I want to send a special shout out to SocialWorks for putting this together. Keep in mind that this is a fundraiser. They're raising funds for the Chicagoland area, kids that may not experience the same things that the rest of us did, meaning prom or graduation. So they are raising some funds to throw them an event later to come when everything is safe. So you should see some information down below right around here. Check that out if you have a second. But today I want to talk to you about ways that you can start living online with your superfans. I know it looks like living online right here, but it's a play on words because a lot of people are live streaming and they're connecting with their fans in a whole new way. So I want to talk to you about some specific curriculum that we have pushed out to our audience at Artist Collective. And this is curriculum that actually was recently featured on Billboard.com for being one of the best free resources for artists going through any kind of hardships during COVID-19. So I'm really excited about that. I'm humbled by it. And I'm even more excited to share with you what we are talking about with our members today. So again, before we get started, it is a fundraiser. Please check that out either right now or after this ends. Anything that you can donate is very much appreciated. A little bit about myself before we get into the topic. My name's Evan Price. I go by AC Evan. I am the founder and CEO of Artist Collective. I'm also a music business mentor and an artist manager myself. I just kind of want to paint the picture, kind of where I come into play with the industry. I was about 14, 15, and I started enjoying music. I started enjoying playing drums with my friends. We started a band, and I slowly began to be involved in the music industry. 14, 15, we wanted to play shows, so I started to become a promoter just out of necessity. And I know a lot of artist entrepreneurs out there that I connect with have that same mindset where they're like, hey, nobody's booking me shows, so great, I'm gonna book my own shows. So I connect on people with that level, and that's kind of what the artists at Artist Collective are all about. They're go-getters, they're entrepreneurs, and they love music. So that kind of brings me to Artist Collective. I moved to Chicago in about 2011 to go to school at Columbia College for music business. You guessed it. And Artist Collective came out from that experience in college, apart from the degree, of course. But I felt that I was able to see a bird's eye view of the industry. You know, I was a promoter, manager, tour manager. I did merchandise. I did marketing. So I wore a lot of different hats in this industry. And a lot of you out there are doing that same thing. And I kind of just was able to see a bird's eye view of how everything was working. And overall, it just seemed like the foundational development steps that artists need is not happening. They're going straight for the streams and trying to get more streams and knock down major labels' doors instead of really figuring out like why they are doing this and some simple steps early on that need to really be focused on. So that's kind of where Artist Collective came to be. And as you see here, I'm describing it as artist development for the digital age. Best way to describe it is a virtual gym membership for your music career. You sign up, you show up, you get encouragement, you get resources, guidance to build, instead of your muscles and your body, your music career. So it gives you a little bit of what Artist Collective does. And yeah, keep in mind that I want this to be a dialogue. As you'll see more later with my content, I want to practice what I preach. And if you have questions, please throw them up here. I'm going to try to get to them as I move along, so we don't necessarily have to wait until the very end. I'll try to multitask the best that I can. So this comes down to let's get back to the living online with your super fans. This kind of came to be when the lockdown was first announced, and it was like 30 days. First, it was like a week, and then it was like the first 30 days. And I'll be honest with you, a lot of artists that I work with and a lot of artists that I even don't work with are panicking. They don't know what to do. Even businesses. Let's broaden this conversation as much as we can to anybody who's trying to build a brand or a personal brand or a business. You kind of need a lot of these procedures that I'm going to talk about. So I'm going to be specifically talking to the artist because, that's my passion. But these concepts can be put forth in whatever you're doing and trying to build that online presence. So how do you keep this engagement going during this lockdown? You can't go to shows. You can't perform. A lot of artists rely on that one-on-one performing, or one-to-many, if you will, and connecting with people, signing autographs, selling merch, shaking hands. But how do you do that when you can't see anybody? And most importantly, how do you break through the noise of everybody and their mom live streaming nowadays? Like, how do you do that? So we really dug deep in Artist Collective and tried to really simplify this process, because a lot of people are overthinking it. And like I said before, they are missing a lot of these foundational steps and skipping right to the end. So I have broken it down to 5 major points of what you should focus on as an artist, or as, like I said, somebody building a brand. You want to connect with people. You want to actually find people that like your music, that like your product, that like what you're doing, that understand that focus. And like I said, people are forgetting these foundational steps, and it kind of seems, you might be reading this and you're like, well, wait, what? This is a no-brainer, of course. But I'm going to dive into each of these 5 in just a moment. But bring value, real connections, quality over quantity, making it personal, and going live. These are the main 5 pieces that I think, and that we think, that you should really dive deep, especially in these times where everybody, as you see in this picture here, everybody's on their phones. It was like this anyway, but it's even more so now because we're at home, we're bored, some of us might be depressed, some of us might be lost on what to do with work, we're out of jobs. So it's now more than ever, you need to connect with people, because they're not getting that one-on-one connection because they can't see anybody right now. Let me take a minute to pop in these questions. Looks like there's some coming through. Would love to answer some. Cool. I can do, somebody said, what resources does Artist Collective offer? Essentially, like I said, the best way to describe it is a gym membership for your music career. So we do weekly trainings, just like what we're doing right now. We also have meetups if you're here in Chicago, and once we can actually do live events, I do monthly, monthly physical meetups where I can kind of plug people in. I bring producers, independent label owners, studios, on top of artists to really connect people, because I think that connectivity is something that this city in particular, and definitely the entire industry, is missing. Excuse me. So you can check that out at artistcollect.com if you want some more information, or hit me up directly. All right, cool. Let's get back to this, and I'll jump into some more questions. So again, these 5 pieces are really important when you're trying to build this brand, because you want to build that brand loyalty up as much as you can at the beginning. And to quote that middle one there, that quality over quantity, when you're first starting out, this is so crucial, that a lot of artists, a lot of creatives, a lot of people are just kind of skipping, and they're just saying, oh, I just want all the followers, I want all this. But really being able to connect with your fans, a deep level, just at least deeper than surface level, is what's going to make a difference between somebody who just follows you and somebody who's going to buy your products for the rest of their life. So bring value. Let's go to the slide here. Bring value. Now, what does this mean? I know that, a lot of artists kind of combat me with this, and they say, well, the music and the lyrics that I write, that's the value. Yeah, I get that. I really do. But when we live in this age of, people are creating their own profiles and they're showcasing themselves as their own personal brand, it is important to dive deep with them, because let's be honest, we're all a little narcissistic. So if we can kind of tap into that in a healthy way with other people and really figure out, hey, thanks for following me, I see that you need this based on your post, I think I can help with that. Value could mean a lot of different things. It could be commenting and sharing their latest video. So when I say bring value, I mean, you want to bring value to people first. You want to give before you take. And that's what's really important, especially in the arts, because people are so like, hey, here's my mixtape on SoundCloud, check me out. Or yeah, here's a live performance. Aren't I the best? Blah, blah, blah. Like, give before you take. Don't always be asking others to, I guess, submit their feedback on you before you have even done that for them and what they're doing. So let's dive into that slightly here in the slide. Bring value. Don't go straight for the sale. This is really crucial. The best analogy I have for this is, you see a pretty girl at the bar, you walk up to her, you decide, hey, I want to talk to her. You walk up to her and you say, hey, will you marry me? Nobody does that. Nobody does that. So why is it any different when you're online and you see a fan, you see somebody who liked a post, you see that they followed you? Why is it that you go straight to the DMs straight to the emailing, and just ask for something and say, hey, even if it's even in reality, streaming a song, takes 3 seconds of their time, but still you're asking, you're going for the ask first. So if you can find a way to warm that person up, going back to the girl in the bar analogy, you see a pretty girl, you decide you want to reach out, you go over to her and say, hey, I think you're pretty. Can I buy you a drink? Can we have a conversation? I want to know more about you. That is more of what I'm talking about. So bring that value online with your fans, with your customers. You see somebody that might want to buy your custom merchandise that you're creating. Don't just say, hey, I see you wear shirts. You might like my shirt. Like, no, warm them up. And I know that you'll see a lot more growth and a lot more deeper connections than you might be getting now. Find out what your audience finds valuable. Because what you think might be valuable might be different, is probably different than what they think is valuable. So what I mean by that is do some digging. Like, they have a public profile. Go look at some posts. Maybe they have a post that say, hey, I really want to get my video views up. Help me out. Watch the video. Shoot them a comment. Do some digging, and it'll kind of tie into how you find that out with this next main piece. But figure out what they want and execute on it and deliver it for them. Give before you take, and they will remember that. You might not think that it means a lot, but it's positive reinforcement. The old trick with training a dog, things like that. Like, that positive reinforcement. Hey, they asked me to do something. They said that they need this done on a post, or they want everybody to share this and tag them. If you are continually showing up for them, karma is going to come back around, and they're going to show up for you. I promise. And value just could mean attention. Value doesn't always mean you have to go and buy all of their merch or listen to their music 24/7. It could literally just mean you give them attention online. You reach out to them, you have a conversation, you ask them questions, and you build from there. All right. You take a drink while I check out these. Oh, I like this one here. In the questions, I got an anonymous person saying, how can artists collaborate with one another virtually? That's a beautiful question. There's so many Zoom webinars and happy hours and live streams that you can pop into and just present yourself. A lot of what it is nowadays is just being around, being available, making sure that you are present and people continue to see your name. So it could just mean getting on other people's Instagram lives and saying, hey, I like what you're doing. Hit me up after this. That, boom, there's collaboration. A lot of what I've built with Artist Collective is through virtual collaboration, which then turns to physical, in-person collaboration. And then that turns into a lifelong partnership a lot of times. So yeah, they can collaborate online virtually. We do virtual meetups, virtual networking events. And I know a lot of other people do that in the city as well. And it's amazing to see. So I would just, find some resources like that. You can hit me up. I can link you to our meetup that we have actually tomorrow. All right. Okay. I like this one too. Let's dive into this one. I like the questions. Keep those coming. I appreciate it, guys. So as a fan, somebody said, as a fan, what types of engagements are most useful and beneficial for the artist? If we're talking about social media posts, sharing is one of the most beneficial. Liking nowadays is kind of on the bottom of the totem pole, at least in my eyes. And it's going to vary per platform. TikTok's algorithm is going to be different than Instagram's, which is going to be different than YouTube. But in my mind, if somebody is actively sharing, they are saying, hey, I like this so much, I want to share it with my friends. So from my knowledge of, social media and marketing, the shares and the comments are some of the best engagement you can get. In-depth comments, like I'm not talking 3 emojis, like it usually like 3 words or more. I believe flags more than others. So thank you for that question. All right, let's find us back here. Cool. So, we were just talking about value, bringing that value, finding out what your audience values, and you do that through genuine connections, real connections with these people, not just people that you see on your gram every once in a while. I'm talking dive deep with these people, figure out who they are, ask questions. That will be useful for you in the long run, and you will see that come back to you because they will subconsciously remember that you spent an extra 5 minutes to talk to them. And when you have another live or another thing that you're asking people to submit to or help you with, they're going to remember that time that you spent extra 2 to 5 extra minutes just asking them about their day. Just something as simple as that. Don't overthink it. Just be a person. Just be a human being and talk to people. So spend time connecting. There's genuine connections that are going to come through your time. That is valuable. That's literally arguably the most valuable asset any of us have. So I get that it's hard to justify, well, I don't want to talk to 50 of my fans online because then I could be making music. In my mind, that's kind of an excuse. And I would like to see you move past that as a person and really spend that time. Just small goals. Let's say you'd spend an hour and you say, for an hour, I'm not going to post. I'm just going to go on, my social media and I'm going to connect with my fans. I know that, Tina and Joey and Barb all tuned into my live last night. I'm going to check in with them. Hey, thanks for tuning into my live. Ask them for feedback on your live. Ask them how their day's going. Ask them how COVID is affecting them. Though things like that, being more of a genuine artist than kind of going down the whole of you want to be that celebrity with the curtain peeled behind and you're mysterious. Like I truly believe that era is over. I think it's a dying era that celebrities now have to have this connection if they want to create a thriving business. Especially without the help of a major label signing advance checks to you. So if you are 100% independent, which a lot of the artists I work with are, you have to put on your customer service hat. It is required. So like I said, spend an extra 2 minutes with somebody. Somebody follows you, just shoot them a message, say, hey, what's up? Thanks for the follow. You don't have to overthink it, but giving them something to go off of and asking them questions instead of making it about you. Again, let's refer back to that. I love this analogy of the pretty girl in the bar. You go up to her and you just immediately, instead of asking questions and saying, hey, can I buy you a drink? You're like, hey, did you know that, I'm a published artist and I won a Grammy or this and that. Like, how do you think she's going to feel about you if you were just come at her with him or her with some ego? Ask questions. They will see that, and they will see that you really truly want to learn about them, and it will create these genuine connections. The best example I have just from my personal brand is, as you see here, it says DM video example. What I like to do is every follower I get, I'll check out their content. I'll take 2 minutes, no matter where I'm at. I can do this on the train, in the bathroom, right here, on the couch. Like, it doesn't matter. I can just spend the extra time. I go and look at their content. I check them out. A lot of times just based on, how my content is. My target audience typically attracts musicians, producers, people in the industry. So I look and see if they actually are in the industry. If they are, which they usually are, I send them a message, but I send them a video message. I push that video. I was like, hey, what's up, man? My name's Evan. Thanks a lot for following me. I appreciate it. I'm checking out your content right now. I add, hey, I really like this song. I tie them to the conversation. And then I say, hey, if you have any questions about the music industry, like, I would love to just help you out any way I can. Boom, value, genuine connections. in a beautiful a beautiful synergy right there. So if you can really grasp that, and again, you can't fake this stuff, you guys. Don't put it out in an automated message that is the same message for everyone. That video shows that I took the extra time to speak with them. Not that I'm any large celebrity or anything like that. It doesn't matter. Everybody can do this. It just means, hey, you value this person so much that you took 1 minute to record a video saying hello and thank you, and you're going to check out their content and then asking for something else. So that's a great example I have. I encourage you all to implement that. And moving on here, quality over quantity. This one sticks really hard. Excuse me. We live in a music industry right now, especially with the independent artists that are really focused on getting more stuff, more followers, more YouTube subscribers, more playlists. But I really try to help artists reset this mindset and put them on, instead of quantity, on quality. Better quality fans over more followers. Because remember that followers do not equal fans. Depending on how they were obtained, people can buy followers, which I don't recommend. And people can just follow without actually knowing who they're following or even take a second look at any of your content. So that is the hard truth of things. People can be deceiving on there. So you have to really dive in and try to refocus your targets. Instead of, I need to get my streams at 50,000 streams, look for, I need to find 10 people who love what I'm doing. And if you refocus that, the streams will come. Those numbers will come. But if you focus on those vanity metrics just to make you look cooler, or because Joe Schmo has 1 million subscribers, like everybody has a different path. So you can't get into that comparison mode. There's always that scarcity mindset with artists and creatives and just everybody. Like, oh, if Joe down the street gets a record deal, that means that's one less for me. Ooh, if they get a bunch of fans and followers on Instagram, that means I'm not getting that. That's completely false and untrue. There's enough to go around, and that's another big thing that I love about Social Works, and the reason that I started Artist Collective is because it is about this collaboration. It's collaboration over competition. There's enough to go around, and you need to really focus on the quality of fans. So we'll keep moving here. See if there's any questions in here, actually. How can Anonymous here says, how can artists turn followers into fans? This exact process, my friend. Almost done. Got a couple more points, but if you can continue to do these things and dive deeper with them, they will turn into fans. They will understand what you're about, that you're more than a musician, that you're more than a rapper, whatever you might be. But showing your true self, which we'll get to, will help turn those followers into fans. Thank you for asking that. All right, let's keep moving here. Thank you for the questions. I'm going to get to as many as I can. So, quality over quantity. Like I said, often we look for more instead of better quality. We look for those vanity metrics because everybody else is doing it. And man, I'm so frustrated with the amount of ads that I see kind of feeding off of those wants of artists. Like, I can get you on playlists. I hate to break this to everybody, but there's a lot of playlist promoters and just playlists out there in general that are not real. You might get a placement. Somebody, charges you $100, $200 to get on a playlist, and boom, 50,000 streams in the first week. Woo, that's great. Let's celebrate. But then nobody saved it. Nobody followed you. And those monthly listeners might start to skyrocket downward. So what that means is you probably just paid for streams. So that's what I'm talking about. When your main goal is to get more, you can get in a trap of getting not very good quality fans, or sometimes fake fans, which are not a good look. It can ruin not only your reputation, but it could get you flagged or banned from Spotify or Instagram from buying followers or bot situations. So I'm really frustrated with all I can get you on Spotify playlist for $100 ads that I'm seeing, because a part of me is just like, I have a feeling those are fake. So I hope none of you have had to go through that, because what it is a lot of times is they'll have like 200 iPods taped to a wall with all different IP addresses. And then once you get on the playlist, they just have each of those IP addresses play the song, play the song, play the song, play the song. So robots are literally streaming your music. Yeah, you'll get fractions of a penny per track from Spotify and Apple Music or whatever, but they're not real people. We want real people. We want better quality. So you do this by going deep with your audience instead of wide. The best example I have is street teams. Remember street teams back in the day? I was let's say I was a big band, and I'd be like, oh, I've got a lot of fans all over the country, all over the world. And I'm going to be going to all these major cities, but I need people to spread the word. I need people to poster the town. So they get these street teams. And what these street teams would be consisted of, they're not just people who don't even listen to the music. No. They are super fans. They are people that live and breathe what the band or artist or company is about. And they shout from the rooftops when they're coming to town, or send out a mass email or message to all of their friends saying, hey, go and listen to this. I'm part of this street team. This is a really dope artist. You should check it out. That is what you should build. Of course, nobody is really postering the town anymore, other than the bigger artists. But you get the idea. The same mentality is there. And I don't see a lot of street teams, virtual street teams, we'll call it, anywhere at all. So if you are able to build that up and go deep with these people, like really identifying who is going to love your content and who is going to love it so much that they hit that share button, if you will, like what we talked about with the question, that big metric is sharing. Word of mouth is one of the biggest forms of marketing still. So use that, go deep. Instead of getting 100,000 followers on a platform, instead you could focus on 1,000 followers or 1,000 super fans. The best, I guess, depiction of this is, let's look at metrics. Let's look at what metrics you should be focusing on. Let's say 1,000 super fans. 1,000 people love your music. All 1,000 people could be in your street teams. They would totally do it for some free tickets, some free merchandise. Let's say they spend $100 on you per year, whether it be through streams or ticket sales or whatever it might be. $100 each of them. You're making $100,000 a year on your music. Like, I know so many artists that would love to make that much. So think about that. Instead of going for those vanity metrics, go for the metrics that are going to help you do this for a living, which is what we're all about. So before we move on to this one, I want to ask everybody tuning in, I'd love to hear your answers here. If a brand or artist you liked had a real conversation with you, would you remember that? Meaning, let me rephrase. If, let's use Chance. Chance, the rapper, hits you up. You follow him. He responds to you and he says, yo, what's up? I really love your page. I really love your drive and your content. Like, would you remember that? Would that stick with you? Like, oh my gosh, he hit me up. Even if it's not a gigantic artist, maybe it's just an independent artist. So you're like, hey, I really like these guys. If they took a few moments to reach out and just say, hey, would that make any impact at all? Just think about that. And I'd love to hear what artists you guys are thinking of. Let me move to the questions here. Ooh, I think I erased it on accident. It said, how can somebody somebody anonymously said, how can you monetize this street team? Well, there's a lot of different ways to do that. I would focus on just setting the street team up first. I think the way you can monetize is, getting people to pool in, to be involved. But typically those are as a promotional tool, not necessarily to monetize. So honestly, there are some ways that you can do it, but I would recommend sticking with you're giving value for people giving you value. You're saying, here's free stuff for you to talk about my product or my artistry. So I would focus on that instead of immediately monetizing it. And that's a little bit about what we're talking about today. A lot of artists that are dealing with this lockdown are confused and depressed and stressed because they can't make any money. So it is a hard time, and my hearts go out to all of you that are experiencing any I guess hardships with this. But I see it as an opportunity to, instead of trying to get as much money as you can from this, to really try to focus and give back. So I know that's kind of hard to do sometimes when you may not be able to pay rent, but instead of immediately going to maybe try to monetize everything as much as possible, try these approaches first. Sorry, let's get back to it. We're limited on time. Really appreciate you all being here. Great questions. Make it personal. You guys, this is my favorite tip within this curriculum. This is one that I struggled with. I still struggle with, I feel like. And I know a lot of you out there do as well. It's about vulnerability. It's about sharing your story, making it personal. Enough with the flexing on the gram of, your 100,000 streams. Enough of these showing off these metrics and trying to be something you're not. You're going to find so much more luck if you're real with people, if you're really personal with people, and you spread that message. You find out what that message is, and you showcase that. I'm telling you guys, it's going to change the way you do business. It's going to change everything. So yes, get vulnerable. A really not insane, a really deep example would be like, if you suffer from depression, if you have ADD, if you had some kind of awful hardship, like losing a parent when you're young, showcase that. I encourage you to be vulnerable and talk about that story in a vulnerable space. And I guarantee you're going to find people who see themselves in you. I read a quote that I really like that says art is just a mirror of society. So they want to see themselves in you. And that's why I like this picture right here, is he's just looking back at himself like, oh, I can do this. Like, you be personal. If you're having a hard time, if you're just like, hey, I had a tough day today. Like, some things got messed up with my business, and let me take you through it. If you take them through that journey, it's gonna be more beneficial than you just flexing about how cool you are or how many streams you got. To quote my guy Gary Vee, you need to document, not create. Don't go out of your way to create this persona that doesn't exist. Instead, be vulnerable. I encourage you all to do that. It's hard. It's hard to even just do a video post like, hey guys, this is what's happening. So if you just aren't even comfortable doing that, start slow. You don't have to share your whole life story, but just say, hey, this is me. I really appreciate you guys. Just start with little things like that. And being authentic is the new X Factor. When you look at shows like The X Factor or American Idol or The Voice, they showcase their story. You notice that? They interview people and try to find an interesting story that hopefully their viewers can connect with. Like, let's say, dude named Mark is a country singer and he's on The Voice and they're interviewing him. And he's like, yeah, my name's Mark. I got started in music, when I was an alcoholic and I fell asleep in my house and it burnt down and I almost died. And that was the turning point for me. That's what they want. People want things like that. And that's a very dramatic example. But if you can find ways to make it personal and show yourself to others, and the internet will help you with this, find the people that like what you're doing and like what you're saying, and they say, yeah, I mess with that. Like he had a hard life, and his parents died young. My mom just died, so now I'm listening. You want to create that emotional response. That's what big businesses are doing. They create emotional responses, and that's what they're selling essentially. So if you are just surface level and you're just saying, hey, buy my, listen to my new mixtape, I'm awesome, check out this cool picture, you may not get anywhere as fast as if you were just real. And the final point here, the more you showcase that, the more you will find your true fans. It'll start to appear. And it'll be a beautiful process. So going live, let me see if I got any more questions. Oh, my mouse here. I like this one. I think I did it. All right. Somebody said, should artists stream stuff like gaming or other things they enjoy? I absolutely love this. Absolutely. Show your personality. You're more than a musician or an artist or a rapper or a songwriter. You might like pottery. You might like gaming. I'll go into some case studies at the end if we have time, and I'll show you some real life examples of some of the artists that I work with are using exactly what you're saying, which is showcasing their realness and some other, talents and passions and tying it into their career. It's a beautiful process if you can get it right. So yes, absolutely. Whoever asked that, do streaming. You can get on Twitch and stream your song while you play Call of Duty. Absolutely do that. All right, we'll keep things moving, guys. I appreciate you. So back to the keynote here. The last piece is this, going live. And you've seen the rising of the live streams. Everybody is going live. Some are working, some are not. But it's beautiful to see this new, platform being used. This one's showing Instagram, but when I say going live, I'm like doing what we're doing right now. It could be Zoom, Facebook Live, Twitch, Instagram, Periscope, whatever. Going live really supports all of the other points that I was talking about. You use those other points while you go live. You connect with people. You showcase yourself. You're vulnerable. You're focused on quality. You don't necessarily should care about how many people are tuning in right then. Every single even if one person tunes in, you make sure that one person feels the most special. So going live, this is the biggest piece. Connect instead of broadcast. What I mean by that is, old school, not even that old school. When you think of radio, you think of a DJ with his headphones on, secluded in a corner, like, welcome to 101.1, playing smooth jazz. I'm just going to play whatever I want, and you just have to like it. That's a broadcast. That is them broadcasting something, and you can call in. There's some kind of communication, but essentially it's just people broadcasting. You don't want to do that. Let me rephrase. You can do that. You can do whatever you want, but I recommend that you steer away from that because it's not connecting with them. You're putting it on live and putting it in the corner and just going and doing whatever. There's only certain platforms like Twitch that works on, but ultimately speaking, when I'm talking about this live, going in with the rest of these points, you want to connect with them. Somebody pops in. Hey, what's up, Joe? Thanks for joining. Hey, Martin, I appreciate you. I saw you on my last live. I also saw you you just had a baby. That's awesome. Congratulations. That's connecting with people. That's saying hello, acknowledging them, creating a conversation. Then if you want to sneak in, okay, cool. If it's okay with you guys, I'm going to play real fast. Great. I haven't seen too many work where it's just they play a set and they can't even respond and they're just back here just playing their guitar. I haven't seen those work as well as the ones that can cohesively make their music and their brand mix well with the connections that they're having, right? And create a vibe with your live stream. What I mean by that is set up your venue, set up your situation. If you are into meditation and mindfulness music and sounds of the river and things like that, your live should be totally different than somebody that's a high energy rapper that's trying to recreate his live experience. Like the best example I have is like Sway Lee when this first started happening. Sway Lee did his Instagram live, and it recreated an actual show. He was stage diving. He was doing everything. So create that live for yourself, and think outside the box. Do more than just playing. Your typical covers. Connect with people and start thinking of new things. So just as a recap, strengthen your online relationships with your fans. You got those 5 points. Okay. Bring value, real connections, quality over quantity, making it personal, and go live. If you can do all of these, back to that original question we had, how do you convert followers into fans? I like to believe this is how. Try it. Try going deep with these people instead of just treating them like a number on your Instagram and just waiting for that next follower to come to just do nothing with. Go deep with people. Cool. So we got about 15 minutes left. I want to get a little nerdy with you guys. Okay. So now you get my process. You get the 5 steps. This is any marketing nerds out there, which I am. Shout out Digital Marketer. I did borrow this from them. This is not my photo, but they created something really simple here. This is a marketing funnel, essentially. This is how you should start viewing every single person that you come in contact with. So I will quickly go through what this means. You got cold traffic, warm traffic, hot traffic. All right? Cold, they don't know who you are. They don't know what you do. Why should they care? They're just they might even be a passive follower. Warm, they're on your level. They understand. They stream some music. They're maybe on your mailing list, but no major commitment on their end other than streaming a Spotify song every once in a while. And hot, this is the gold piece. Hot is your super fans. These are people that live and breathe what you do. They're not only supporting you, but they're also paying for high ticket offers. Some examples of that would be this. Cold would be blog posts, social media, videos, podcasts. Warm traffic, your trials, webinars, events, services that you might have, and your streaming. And hot is going to be merch bundles, high ticket offers, and maybe your high ticket events. So start thinking about where each person is in this realm. And the goal is to move them through it gradually. I know a lot of you do this. You go straight from cold, oh, I got a follower, to, hey, buy my album. You're moving them straight through warm, straight to hot. You can't do that effectively. That might work. That might work to just, basically go into the bar and ask the girl to marry you. She might just say yes. Why not? But that's the exception, not the rule. So you need to really flow them through this process as much as you can. So the homework that I have for you guys is really simple. Go live once this week. Just try it. If you've never done it, now's the time to do it. I'm challenging you all. What helped me get started was I went live with other people. So on Instagram Live, you can kind of go live with someone else, and it essentially looks like a FaceTime call that you can have comments. That helped me get more comfortable. So it's not just like staring at the screen like, hey guys, what are you doing? What's up? How are you? Do more than that. So if it helps you, go live with a friend or something, and put these 5 tips into practice. Okay. Looks like I only have time I wanted to go through some case studies, some real life examples. I'll go through a couple of these and then open it up for last final questions. But this is the artist that I manage. His name's Austin Fillmore. So keep these 5 things in mind as we go through this. But something that he does is he does a songwriting live stream. So he'll go live on Instagram while he's writing lyrics to a beat that he may have gotten. He keeps the viewers engaged. Hey, is this good? Is this good? They're now a part of his song creation process that they will remember. And guess what? Now they're tied to this song. So once it comes out, they feel more connected to it. He also has another thing called Feel More Fridays. That's more about being vulnerable. And of course, advertisements to music. My friend Vibe Queen, who I've worked with for a year or so, she is into mindfulness. As you can tell by the name, she is the vibe queen. She's into mindfulness, meditation, sage, crystals. So her daily meditations, every day at 3, she goes live and she hosts a live meditation. So this is giving free value. This is giving free value to people to say, hey, I'm into mindfulness, but I don't know what to do. Now she's opened that door. Now she has an active audience. So when she comes out with her own meditations, which she has, that is a specific audience that she can just say, hey, you guys enjoy these free stuff? Go pre-save something. It's great. And she's also got moon vibe boxes, which are physical products that are equipped with sage and crystals and a nice affirmation. So it's in line with her brand. And you can kind of see how daily meditations are in the cold, right? And when she's selling the physical product, that's probably warm/hot traffic. So it's cool to keep that in mind, any marketers out there. All right, cool. I also have my friend Tyler right there. You see with the crazy little guitar, thing he's got there. The Fifth Star Band. They host every Fridays. They host a happy hour open mic. So they are really energetic bands that is like party rock. So they want to recreate that with their live stream. It's a great way to engage fans, engage new artists. And it's just an overall cool vibes. And they actually put in some really great production with it. So I would recommend you check that out. And last but not least, my buddy, Vinny Hines. He's the co-owner of Artist Collective. Shout out, Vinny. He's also an artist himself. He has started $5 cover videos. So he plays live. He usually gets tips. So those typical people that can't see him live on a regular basis anymore can now still be engulfed in that, and he can still make his money from music, which most of it fell away because he couldn't play live anymore. So he created $5, Venmo him. He'll write any song, record any cover that you want, and he'll dedicate it to you. It's a great way to interact with those fans. And you guys, the last thing I really want to hit home are these 3 pieces. As you're taking these 5 steps into play and you're using them actively, I want you to think of even these 3 as more basic. What are the 3 core human desires that you share, I share with you, and we all have? It is these 3 things: to be seen, to be heard, and to be loved for who we are. So if you're able to do this, even at a most basic level, to all of your fans, you're going to have really deep connections, and you're truly going to build a super fandom that you could only dream. Let's even think basic. Somebody gets in your live and they pop up and you wave at them and say, hey, Deborah, thanks for joining. What did you do today? Just then you completed 2 of those core human desires. They were seen. You're asking them some questions and you're responding to their answers. They're being heard, and you can always support you loving them for who they are through your content and through your one-on-one connections. So if you can do even just these 3 main things, I know that you can create better relationships. So I would love to open up the rest of our time to answer any questions that I didn't get to. I appreciate your patience and checking this out. Again, shout out as more questions hopefully pile in. Shout out Social Works. They are putting together this fundraiser. Please go to the screen. I see it right there. They're putting on a prom fund for Chicagoland students and kids. So if you got a prom and you liked it, or even if you didn't like it, donate to these kids so they can get a cool experience that they'll remember forever. So love to hit the questions. Somebody says, thanks for doing this. It's really informative. Lots of gems. I appreciate you. I really appreciate that. How can artists share oh, that one went away. It said something about how can artists share a piece of their life with social media, I believe. Use social media, be vulnerable, post those things, talk about your experiences, and watch the fans flood in. How can I put together a good looking sounding performance online? Somebody asked. I think I keep. An interface will work, and hooking it up to some kind of platform like Zoom, something like that, could help with your live performance. Let me go through here, see if there's something related to what we were talking about. What is best? All right, I got it now. I'm not going to press that one until. Here we go. I got it, you guys. Now figuring it out. Somebody asked, what do you think about pay to connect with celebrity services like Cameo? Cameo is like you pay a fee and, you know, John Travolta will say, happy birthday to your daughter. Like, I get that. It's a cool platform. It's a cool way for celebrity, you know, to have that interaction. I mean, I don't have many thoughts on it. It's an outlet. I don't really think everybody should be on it, but it's a cool opportunity for some people. I've never used it or bought anything for people to shout out to me or anything like that, but it's cool. Cool. All right. This is my last one I'm going to answer, you guys. Thank you for all the questions. If there's anything else that I can answer for you guys, just reach out to me. I am at Artist Collect or at AC_Evan. If you have any more questions, I also have an open text line. Text me if you got questions about the music business. I'd love to just chop it up with you and again give you as much value as I can right now. So text that number and hit me up. But somebody said, what parts of the music making process are most interesting to fans? I mean, that's kind of a hard question to answer. It's going to be different for everybody. I think just showcasing, again, document instead of create. What I mean by that is don't try to like doctor it up and make it look cool because you think that people will like this. Just really just document what you're already doing and find the people who love that instead of creating it to be something that it's not. Hope that helps. Well, cool, guys. I really appreciate this. This was a lot of fun. Again, shout out SocialWorks and everybody involved. They have a great team over there. They're doing a lot to, you know, get these kids a cool prom, a cool event. So I will leave you with that. Just check out the link below and donate what you can, and you know, keep on doing what you're doing and keep living online with your super fans. Thank you. Bye.
Verses are doing my feeling, my city hurt. They killing our babies, this work going crazy. I pray for my city to reimburse. Running schools for the kiddies, with the city every lady. All I know is it's work, with the heart keep it busy. Know the life can be tricky, but please just let me finish. Let me just be a witness. S-Works handle business.
Social works, social works, social works, social works, social works, social works.
Ready or not, here we come. South side, west side, east side, north side. Up on the run, we ain't for the none. We came in the party, we here for the fun. Celebrate life, the party we young. Sky is the limit, we looking above. We up in the sun, no matter what, we stay on the run. Ha, S work, do your thing. S work, keep it lit. Bullseye.